What's going on, broskies? So today I'm going to be sharing with you um, a deck that I had to come up with and put together because they didn't release a precon for it. Which I don't understand why they don't have a precon of a very big concept. You know, they have everything, but where's the werewolf love? You know what I mean? Why aren't there werewolves? Why is that not a? I mean, I guess they did have a box. Wouldn't they have like a midnight hunt? But that's where everything came from. But they didn't make a like I don't know. They didn't make a precon, and I was like, so. But I made a deck, and I'm sure that a lot of people have made their own renditions of the werewolf deck. But this is my werewolf tribal deck, and here we go. So, I'm pretty sure he's the if he's not the only one, there's got to be like only two. But I'm pretty sure he's the only one. But I've got Tovalar Dire Overlord as the commander. He's a legendary creature. Um, he's a 3/3, and then when he transforms, he's a 4/4. But whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control three or more wolves and or werewolves, it becomes night automatically. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. And as of right now, he's daybound, but it's only a 3 mana draw. In total, you need one red, one green, and one random. Very useful. And then when he flips over, as you see, the first ability stays into effect, but that second ability changes to for X being the variable red green. Target wolf or werewolf you control gets plus X plus 0 and gains trample until end of turn. So you can throw additional mana at a werewolf that you're preparing to go into an attack form and basically overrun your opponent with this crazy werewolf army. Now, I try to keep this deck as close to what I would consider a traditional werewolf deck to be, which is basically full of all werewolves and wolves and you know dog-esque creatures. Uh, but all right, so we got Arlene. Arlene's really the only one I could go to make it like make sense in my head. But I got Arlene, Voice of the Pack, for 2 green and 4 random. It's kind of actually high. Um, but it says each creature you control that's a wolf or a werewolf enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And then for a -2, you can create a 2/2 green wolf creature token if you absolutely have to. I would avoid it because that +1/+1 is really just what you're trying to do with this Arlene. Now, Arlene the Pack's hope is 1 red, 1 green, and 2 random. And for a +1, until your next turn, you may cast creature spells as though they had flash, and each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. That's really useful. And then a -3, create 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. So it helps you make more wolves, create an army, and overrun your opponent. And this also transforms when it's night. And when it's night, Arlene becomes the Moon's Fury. Sorry, and for a +2, it's 1 red and 1 green. It just adds some additional mana to help you kind of push out some more. And then for a 0, Arlene, the Moon's Fury becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature with trample, indestructible, and haste. Not bad. I mean, you can turn a planeswalker into a creature temporarily, and it helps you kind of dish out some additional damage there. But those are the two planeswalkers I have. This is going to be mainly focused on, for me, strategically, it's about dishing out as many werewolves as possible, just throwing them out on the field immediately, and then uh, biting and chipping away at your opponent. It's just that's guerrilla warfare, you know. So we got Bird Admirer for 1 green and 2 random, human archer werewolf. It has reach. It's daybound, and then when it flips over, oh, it's a 1/4, but when it flips over, it's a 3/5. So a little bit stackier. Bounding Wolf, 1 green, 2 random, Flash, reach. It's a 3/2. Does not flip over, but still a wolf. Burly Breaker. Ward for 1 random mana. Daybound. It's a 6/5, 2 green, and 3 random mana. And when it flips over, dude, it turns into an 8/7. But its ward cost also gets higher. It becomes a 3. But an 8/7? Bro. Child. Ugh, come on. Child of the Pack. 1 green, 1 red, 2 random. Same thing. 1 green, 1 red, 2 random. For an ability, it creates a 2/2 green wolf creature token. And then when it's nightbound, it flips over and becomes a 5/5 with trample. And other creatures you control get a +1/+0. Um, Conduit of Storms, 1 red, 2 random. Werewolf Horror. When Conduit of Storm attacks, add 1 red mana to your mana pool at the beginning of your next main phase this turn. And then for 2 red with 3 random, you can transform Conduit of Storms at will, and it becomes a 5/4. And whenever Conduit of Emrakul attacks, it adds 2 random mana to your mana pool at the beginning of your next main phase this turn. I think this came out of an Eldrazi. I don't know. I don't remember the pack, but it is one of those. Duskwatch Recruiter, 1 green, 1 random, Human Warrior Werewolf. It's a 2/2. Flips over for a 3/3, and when it's daybound, it has this ability: 1 green, 2 random. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from amongst them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast this turn, transform Duskwatch Recruiter, just like all the other werewolves. But you're not really gonna have to worry about it because the commander, of course. And then it turns into Krullen Horde Howler, and creature spells you cast cost 1 random mana less to cast at the beginning of each upkeep. Yeah, it's just gonna transform again. So Fearful Villager, 1 red, 2 random, human werewolf. It has menace. It's daybound. That's about it. It's a 2/3, but then when it flips over, it becomes a 4/3 with the same static, effects. Greer Reach Bandit. Haste, 1 red, 2 random to cast at the beginning of each upkeep. Yep, it just has haste. It's a 3/2. Turns into a 4/3. Um, and it's useful. Harvestide Infiltrator. It has trample. It's 3/2, 1 red, 2 random, and then when it flips over, it turns into a 4/4. The artwork for all of these are really nice. The Hermit of the Natternolls. It's a human werewolf, and whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw a card. Gives you that. And then also it's a 2/3, flips over for a 3/5. And whenever your opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw 2 cards. So, Howlpack Piper. Come on. Howlpack Piper. 1 green, 3 random. This spell can't be countered. And then for 1 green and 1 random, and you tap it, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's a wolf or a werewolf, untap Howlpack Piper, activate only as a sorcery. And then when it flips over, it turns into a 4/4. And whenever it transforms into Wildsong Howler, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them to put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It just helps you to keep shuffling and swiping through whatever werewolf you're trying to find at that moment, essentially. Um, Huntsmaster of the Fells. It's a 2/2 for 1 green, 1 red, 2 random, and whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Huntmaster of the Fells, create a 2/2 green creature wolf token, and you gain 2 life. And then when I flip it over, it turns into a 4/4, and it gets trample, and it deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker and 2 damage up to 1 target creature that player or planeswalker controls. So that's just when it transforms. But it has trample, which is really useful in this scenario. Wolf is 1 green, 1 red, 1 random. It has intimidate, which means this creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it. So if you're fighting something that's blue or black, it's got no hope. Other wolf and werewolf creatures you control got a +1/+1. Non-human werewolves you control can't transform. But that's really what you're going for, a +1/+1 stack on effect to the other wolves. Instigator Gang, attacking creatures you control gain a +1/+0, and it's one red, three random to cast the spell. It's a 2/3, but then when you flip it over, it becomes a 5/5, and it gets trample with a attacking creatures you control get a +3/+0, which is way better. Um, Kessig Naturalist, it's green and red, and whenever it attacks, you gain one red or one green mana until the end of turn, and you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. When it flips over, it gives other wolves and werewolves a static +1/+1, and I think it loses that first, like you don't gain mana, but now you're giving that added bonus to the other wolves for a 3/3, and he becomes Lord of the Olivin-Walled. Um, Kessig Prowler, he's a werewolf horror. He's a 2/1 for one green mana. And whenever you spend one green with four random, you transform him and he turns into a 4/4. And he can't be blocked by more than one creature. So it's not too bad, not too shabby. Cruin Outlaw, two red and one random. It has first strike. It's a rogue werewolf, a human rogue werewolf. At the beginning of each upkeep, yep, same thing. And then it transforms into a 3/3. Terror of Cruin Pass. Uh, 3/3 with double strike, and each werewolf you control, yeah, same thing. Yep, pretty decent. Mayor of Avabrook, Mayor of Avabrook. I'm gonna go with that. One green, one random. Human advisor werewolf. Other human creatures you control get +1/+1. And then when it transforms, it goes from a 1/1 to a 3/3. And other werewolf and wolf creatures you control get a +1/+1. And then at the beginning of your end step, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. Mondronin Shaman, human werewolf shaman, one red, one red, three random. At the beginning of each, yep, it's a 3/2. Transforms into a 5/5. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, Tovolar's Mage Hunter deals 2 damage to that player. Not bad, not bad at all. There's so many cards. Doing this is kind of exhausting, guys, but I really love these cards, and I want people to look at it because you have options. You don't have to always just go out and buy a pre-constructed deck. You can make your own stuff. So, Nightpack Ambusher, 2 green and 2 random. It has flash. It gives all your wolves and werewolves a +1/+1. And then at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, you create a 2/2 green wolf creature. It does not flip over, but it's already a wolf, so you don't need to worry about it. Um, Outland Liberator, one green, one random, human werewolf. For one mana, you can sacrifice the Liberator, and you can destroy a target artifact or an enchantment, and if it flips over, it becomes a 3/3. Same ability is still there. Paxon Pup. If you don't have this and you're having a werewolf deck, you really need to consider it because it's one green, one random. At the beginning of your combat, at the beginning of the combat on your turn, if you control another wolf or a werewolf, put a 1/1 counter on Paxon Pup. When Paxon Pup dies, you gain life equal to its power. Now, what does this mean? It means if you get Paxon Pup out on the battlefield in the beginning of the game, and you just keep bringing on other, wolves and werewolves, eventually that puppy's not going to be much of a puppy anymore. It's going to be a full-grown, you know, wolf from the gray with, what's that guy who has a certain set of skills? Is it Liam Neeson? Yeah, it's Liam Neeson. It's not Jason Statham. It's Liam Neeson, I think. He was, yeah, Batman? I don't know. Okay, Petulant Wolf, one green, one random. One green and two random. It has this ability that gives you death touch until end of turn. It does not transform, but it's already a wolf. Sacred Wolf is another one. One green, two random. and it can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, and it's a 3/1. So it's probably easily dismissible, but it's still there, still doing something. Sage of Ancient Lore, 1 green, 4 random, human shaman werewolf. And if its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. Oh, no, it's not if. Sage of Ancient Lore's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. So if you got 6 cards in your hand, you got a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. That's not bad, man. That's not bad at all. And then you transform it. It gets Vigilance and Trample. I don't remember having it, but that's a nice card. Okay, Scorned Villager, 1 green, 1 random. You can tap the villager and it gives you 1 green mana. And then when you flip it over, it turns into a 2/2. And when you tap it, it gives you 2 green mana. Silver Fur Partisan, 1 green, 2 random, trample. Whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery spell, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. Now we're down to Tavern Ruffian. It's 1 red, 3 random, human warrior werewolf, and it's a 2/5. And then when you transform it, it becomes a 6/5. Pretty beefy. Ulrich of the Krallen Horde. 1 green, 1 red, 3 random, human werewolf, legendary creature. When this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Ulrich of the Krallen Horde, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Um, and then when you transform him, uh, the creature transform into Ulrich uncontested alpha. You may have it fight target non-werewolf creature you don't control. Pretty useful, and it's a 6/6. Weaver of Blossoms. You tap it, add 1 mana of any color. It's green and 2 random, and then when you flip it over, it becomes a 3/4, and when you tap it, it's the same thing. Now, sorceries. Well, you have so many werewolves, why do you need sorceries? Well, sometimes things just don't work out the way you want it to. So, green and 2 random, that's a sorcery target. Okay, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. If that permanent's mana value was 3 or less, proliferate. Yeah, I wouldn't really care about the proliferation thing, but destroying something that's flying because you are on the ground. I don't know any flying werewolves or wolves. It's pretty useful. Also, an enchantment that might be like destroying whatever's going on with you, or an artifact that might be annoying. It's pretty useful to have. Chain Lightning, 1 red mana. It deals 3 damage to any target. Uh, if they pay 2 red mana, they may copy the spell and choose a new target for the spell. I think everyone knows Chain Lightning by now. Um, Creeping Renaissance, 2 green, 3 random. Choose a permanent type, return all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. That's going to be your resurrection right there. Rise of the Ants, this is just for shits and giggles, but it's a 2 green, 4 random. You create 2/3/3 green insect creature tokens. You gain 2 life. I figure, you know, why not? Shadow Beast Sighting. 1 green, 3 random. Create a 4/4 beast creature token. It has a flashback cost of 1 green and like 6 random. I wouldn't bother, but if you can, you can do it and try to use it again. Wild Endeavor. 2 green, 4 random. Roll 2d4. Choose one result. Create a number of 3/3 beast creature tokens equal to that result. Then search your library for a number of basic land cards equal to the other result. Put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And that'll be all 6 of my sorceries. Now we're going to go to instances. Okay. Fire Blast. 2 red, 4 random. You may sacrifice 2 mountains rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Fire Blast deals 4 damage to any target. Free from flesh, one random, one no, one not one random, one red, and target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Put 2 oil counters on it. We're not using oil counters. We're just getting that +2/+2 if we need to. Hex Gold Slash, one red, and it does 2 damage to target creature if that creature has Toxic. Hex Gold Slash deals 4 damage to that creature instead. Um, this is 1 green and 1 random. It's an instant. It's called Moon Mist. Transform all humans. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures other than werewolves or wolves. Then we got 1 red and 2 random Rebel Salvo. Affinity for equipment, so costs 1 less to cast for each equipment you have. And it deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. It also, that permanent loses indestructible until end of turn. Return of the Wild Speaker. 1 red, 4 random. No, 1 green, 4 random. Choose 1. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. Or non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. Then we're going to go to 1 green. It's called Sandstorm. Sandstorm deals 1 damage to each attacking creature. Solar Blast. Red, 3 random. It does 3 damage to any target. Enough said. I mean, you can cycle it. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible. Stonewood Invocation. It's a split second. So as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't play spells or activated abilities that aren't mana abilities. Target creature gets +5/+5 until the end of turn and can't be the target of spells or abilities this turn. Stonewood Invocation, I think is useful overall, and if you've got green, it's just one of those, like, why not, do it? But that's just my opinion. Swell of Growth, 1 green, 1 random, instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Vault Charge, 1 red, 2 random. It deals 3 damage to any target. Proliferate, I could care less about proliferation, but this is just another way to dish out DPS. Waxing Moon, 1 green, 1 random. Instant, transform up to 1 target werewolf you control. Creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. And the last instant, this is 1 green, 2 random, Woodcutter's Grit. Target creature you control gains +3/+3 and gets Hexproof until end of turn. So as you see, like, with this deck, it's mainly focused on damage and seeing how much you can get away with. I've got 4 artifacts. Let me just disclaimer here. As far as artifacts and instances and enchantments, like, those things are really, those are all for you to use, I would say. But if you're gonna go with the tribal werewolf deck, I don't know. I think you should try to fill it up with as many werewolves as you could put in there, right? So let me go to the artifacts now. So Arcane Signet for 2 random, and you tap it, you add a mana of any color in your commander color identity. Um, Commander Sphere, 3 random, same thing. Add any color mana in your commander's color identity. Heirloom Blade, 3 random. Equipped creature gets +3/+1, and whenever equipped creature dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card that shares a creature type with that. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Equipment cost is 1, and you got to remember that creature type does not really matter because all our creatures are werewolves. So what do you just pick the next one. Mask of Avacyn, 2 random. Equipped creature gets +1/+2 and has hexproof for equipment cost of 3. Still worth it. I mean, you never know. Okay, I got 7 enchantments here, and that's done with the artifacts. Blade Master Ascension, 1 green, 2 random. enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a quest counter on Beastmaster Ascension. As long as Beastmaster Ascension has 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. Let that shit sink in and grow, and you will become unstoppable. Berserker's Onslaught, it's 2 red, 3 random. It's an enchantment that'll give your creatures double strike. And when we're talking about, you have maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 or 8 werewolves on the field and they all have double strike, you are going to destroy something. Colossification. Now, this isn't the version of Colossification I have. I want to change it to the printing I like. Where's the printing? Switch printing. There we go. That's the one I have. That's the one. That's the one. Okay. So I have the nice little kitty cat on it, but it's 2 green, 5 random, and you're gonna enchant the creature, right? Uh, you're gonna tap the enchanted creature when Colossification enters the battlefield. But read that bottom line. Enchanted creature gets +20/+20. Can you imagine having a werewolf like just a 4/4? Now he's a 24/24. There's no way to fucking come back from that. Colossification is my shit, dude. Fuck yeah. Put Colossification in this. Put it in every green deck. I love this card. 'Cause people don't ever use it and they don't think about it. But Howlpack Resurgence is green and 2 random. And each creature you control that's a wolf or a werewolf gets +1/+1 and has trample. And this is a flash card, so pretty quick. Indomitable Might, green, 3 random, flash, enchant creature. Enchanted creature is a +3/+3. And enchanted creature's controller may have it assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Unnatural Growth, I don't really care too much about it, but it's just there. 4 green, 1 random. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until the end of turn. The reason why I don't care about it is because of the high mana cost, but if you can get away with it, I mean, you're doubling the power and toughness of each creature you control. So everything is already immaculate, you know? Why not try it? Wild Growth, you're going to enchant a land, and whenever you do that, you're just going to get an additional green mana. It's a 1 mana cost, so why not have it? Now, as far as lands, man, or women, or bro, or whatever, as far as that goes, lands, I have 37. I have a Center Glade, which is just, green or red, and that's cool. I got 16 forests. I got a Game Trail. I got a Ghost Quarter. I got a Gruel Turf, Mosswort Bridge, 15 Mountains, and 1 Rugged Highlands. And that's gonna be it for me, man. I got 30 creatures, 2 planeswalkers, some instances, enchantments, very small amount of artifacts, but I'm telling you, the werewolf deck is really fun. I love it to death. And I think after I'm done with this video, I'm gonna be uploading the vampire deck shortly. Um, if you guys ever need ideas or if you want to kind of look at what I've been playing with, this is nice. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe or comment and tell me what an idiot I am if my decks aren't up to par with your critique. But remember, this was $66, so not a big deal. All right, I will see you guys later.